Hey y'all, let's talk about Malabar spinach.
My goal this season with this plant was that it would grow up the wagon wheel, grow across this little outdoor bar area that we have, and it was going to be really pretty. However, you know, things in the garden don't ever go the way we want it to. So we had a little bit of a cool spring into a cooler summer, and it did not thrive the way it wants to. However, my tomato plants did. My tomato plants ended up shading this plant out, and it did not grow as spectacular as I had planned for. I want to start off by talking about why I chose Malabar spinach for my garden. I've been doing a lot of research concerning climate change and our environment, and just kind of noticing a trend of hotter and hotter summers every year. So my goal over the next 5 years is to really transfer my garden into more of heat tolerant plants. So I have found this to be very, very good in the heat of our summers down here in the south. There are some websites that say it'll perennialize down to zone 7. I have not found that to be the case, and I'm here in zone 8. We do get a little bit of snow and ice, and we do get some frosted temperatures. And once the frost hits, this plant's done for. But however, if you do live in Florida, lower Alabama, lower Louisiana, Texas, Arizona, this plant would probably perennialize pretty easy for you. And good news for those of us in zones 8 and below, this plant reseeds itself super easily. So as long as you let it go to flower, go to seed, and let some of those seeds drop, you're almost guaranteed a harvest the next year. Let's take a look at one of the leaves off of here. So even though this isn't a true spinach, it does taste like spinach, exactly like it. It is a little bit more, I hate this word, mucilaginous. It's like mucinex-y, mucusy, that's the word. But it is so good. You know how with some plants, the bigger the leaves get, the more bitter they get, so it's better to pick the smaller plants, smaller leaves. This is not the case with Malabar spinach. Malabar spinach can be eaten raw, it can be cooked, it can be blanched and frozen to preserve through the winter, and it can also be canned just as you would any other leafy green. This plant's also rich in iron, calcium, and vitamins A, C, and B9. Another reason to grow Malabar spinach is that once it flowers, it creates these. These are the unripe, and these are ripe, and these are edible berries. They're kind of peppery, and they are very, very messy. So just be careful when you are working with these. You could probably use these as a natural dye, because if you can see, my hands are now dyed. So the berries, you can eat raw, you can eat cooked. I've seen a lot of people make jellies out of them. I think they would be good just to toss on a salad just for a little bit of extra flavor and a little bit of extra nutrients. Soil conditions. So this plant does originate in the tropics. So this plant really, really loves moist soil. So you want to be consistent with your watering. The more watering that you do, the better that this plant will thrive and survive. I noticed this spring, when we had a good amount of water, this plant was doing great. And then as soon as the rain stopped, the growth also slowed down a lot. However, when the temperatures were in 100 degrees and above, this plant did amazing. It looked like this entire time, and it didn't curl up or shrink or brown or anything like that. I've also noticed no pests on this plant. Usually with my leafy greens, I do get some sort of slug pressure, or even like Japanese beetles. You know, those little ones that look like ladybugs and they're not ladybugs. Those beetles, they always get on my beans and my greens. And these have had zero pests. I haven't seen anything touch these whatsoever. So definitely want to get this if you have any sort of pest pressure on any of your greens. It's a vining plant, of course. So you're going to have some sort of trellis. Even though I could let this completely go to seed and reseed itself next year, I'm going to put this in a sunnier location with a larger trellis. I may even go as far as doing like a cattle panel trellis just for this. I'd like to get a few jars in this year, canned for the winter, but next year I think my goal is to really put back a bunch of this, since it's such a good nutrient dense plant. I'd like to put back a lot of jars, but And if anybody's canned greens, you know it takes a lot in order to get just a few little pints of it. All right, guys, well, that is our Malabar spinach. If you have any questions, or have you grown this in the past, if you've got any great recipes for this, please let us know. That's one of the things that I want to do here on my page, is bring us all together and share knowledge. So if you've got some, please don't be shy, share it in the comments, and we'll have a discussion down below. And my hands are really stained. Look at that. What? I have a white dress. This is a tangent. I have a white dress in my closet that I've been wanting to like spore print or dye, you know, with like natural dyes. And I think that'd be a really pretty color. Might do it.